According to Bankrate's 2025 survey, there is a stark economic contrast. The median side hustle makes just $200 a month.
But a tiny 2% are clearing $5,000.
The secret isn't about working 25 times harder. Beat. Welcome, the learner. We are glad you are here.
We have a very clear mission for this deep dive today.
We are exploring 5 specific Claude AI business models. These separate the high earners from the rest of the pack.
The core difference is actually quite simple to understand. Most people use AI to mass-produce completely generic content. They just hope it randomly sells.
But the top 2% take a completely different approach entirely. They use it as leverage for a skill they already possess.
Leverage just means using AI to multiply effort without losing quality.
Right. You take what you already know and simply scale it up. Let's map out our detailed journey for today.
We start by looking at scaling mundane, boring service businesses. Then we move into the mechanics of writing passive ebooks.
After that, we examine crafting high-ticket coaching offers.
Next, we dive into the realities of running done-for-you services.
Finally, we construct the audience engine that powers every single model.
Let's start with existing service businesses to build our foundation. These usually have a very immediate, painful operational bottleneck. Manual research and proposal writing constantly eat up your precious time.
It creates a physical ceiling on your active client roster. But the technological landscape is shifting incredibly fast right now. Look at the modern real estate market for a perfect example.
The data here is genuinely startling to look at closely. 91% of U.S. agents are currently completely invisible online.
They are invisible when modern buyers use AI to research. There was a recent study of 12,400 AI responses. They looked across 8.2 million unique user queries.
And 91% of human agents didn't show up once.
Whoa, imagine scaling to 8.2 million queries and realizing your business is totally invisible. 2-sec silence.
It is a staggering reality check for any traditional business. In 18 short months, we witnessed a massive behavioral jump. The share of buyers using AI tools as main research jumped wildly. It went from 17% up to 67%.
They rely heavily on ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity today. If you aren't surfacing in those answers, you just don't exist.
This existential threat applies to literally any basic service business. Think about the daily workflow of a standard business consultant. A single client proposal usually takes them 3 to 4 hours.
It is a notorious grind covering scope, methodology, and rigid timelines. But one consultant successfully moved this exact manual workflow to Claude. It cut a draining 4-hour task down to a 30-minute edit.
But you can't just casually ask Claude for a business proposal. You will just get a very generic, unusable robotic template.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself when I don't give the AI enough context up front.
Prompt drift happens when AI loses focus and generates irrelevant answers.
Right, and that is exactly why you use a reverse prompt. You tell Claude to ask you 5 specific questions first.
It asks about your industry and your target customer profile. Next, it asks about your core product and your current revenue. Finally, it demands to know your 90-day business goal.
Only after answering all 5 questions does it generate anything. Now it actually has the deep strategic context it desperately needs. You then ask for a 30-day content plan.
You request exactly 4 problem-solving social posts and 4 case studies. You add 2 mythbusters and specify a strict word count. Keep it around 150 to 250 words.
You dictate the specific tone and demand a clear call to action. So the real edge isn't generating new ideas, it's just speeding up the mundane paperwork.
Yeah. The technology simply takes over all the tedious formatting and structural heavy lifting.
Right, AI handles the heavy lifting, you handle the relationships. Let's shift gears.
Since we solved active bottlenecks, let's pivot to passive digital assets. These are assets that scale infinitely, specifically writing digital ebooks.
The inherent appeal here is pretty easy to intuitively understand. You write the manuscript once and you sell it forever.
But the biggest mistake is guessing what your readers actually want. You must check Amazon bestseller lists before you even start writing.
Generic, broad self-help books usually fail in today's saturated market. Highly specific, niche nonfiction is where the real passive money is. We are talking about keto meal plans or day trading guides.
Or even highly specific dog training manuals for difficult breeds. A crowded category with hundreds of recent reviews is actually fantastic. It proves that real, quantifiable market demand absolutely exists there.
Let's look at a fascinating success story about 2 modern authors. Ross and Deborah write independent fantasy novels out in Milwaukee. They used AI tools to completely overhaul their book marketing strategy.
They specifically generated comparative titles to vastly improve their ad targeting. They also crafted incredibly effective digital ad copy almost effortlessly.
Their marketing prep time dropped from 30 agonizing hours to just minutes, and their email newsletter steadily grew past 5,000 engaged subscribers.
So how do you actually use AI to write the ebook? You prompt Claude to build a strict 6 to 8 chapter outline. Every single chapter must solve one specific, painful reader problem.
You ask for exactly 3 crucial key points per individual chapter. Once it is locked, you begin drafting it chapter by chapter. You aim for roughly 800 to 1,000 words each.
You do this to maintain a highly consistent brand voice throughout.
And I have to push back on publishing raw AI text. Unedited AI text is like stacking Lego blocks of data. It completely lacks the natural cadence of a human being.
Yeah, it feels incredibly robotic and lifeless to the reader. You absolutely have to carefully smooth out the rough edges yourself.
A thorough human edit is necessary for maintaining long-term quality. After editing, you use Canva for a professional cover design. Then you use Amazon KDP for zero-cost digital publishing instantly. Why write chapter by chapter instead of generating the whole book at once?
It all comes down to controlling the AI's limited memory window. Generating chunks prevents the tone from wildly drifting off topic.
Got it. Chunking it out keeps the voice from drifting. We're going to pause for just a quick second here. Sponsor.
Welcome back, the learner. We just explored passive ebooks. Now we move from low-ticket assets to high-ticket, personalized transformations.
We are actively using the exact same niche industry knowledge, but now we are carefully crafting a premium coaching offer instead.
Identifying your core coaching offer is actually quite remarkably simple. It is the exact thing people constantly ask you for free.
The trickiest part of launching any coaching business is setting prices. You need to confidently price around outcomes, not your logged hours.
The Paper coaching platform shares a truly brilliant example of this. Imagine you help a client successfully negotiate a massive corporate salary raise.
The client happily goes from $80,000 to $150,000. That is a staggering $70,000 permanent raise for them.
They didn't pay you for 10 hours of friendly chatting. They gladly paid for that life-changing $70,000 financial result.
Instead of selling single sessions, you package them together carefully. Selling 3-month packages fills a calendar much faster and easier. Selling single $100 sessions just leads to massive coach burnout.
Once your package is locked, you need a compelling sales page. You ask Claude to build it, based entirely on the core problem. You carefully list the failed alternatives they have already unsuccessfully tried.
You clearly detail the package and provide undeniable social proof. And you always end with a crystal clear call to action. Keep the overall tone incredibly direct and highly professional.
You absolutely do not want it sounding overly hyped or desperate. Then you mention integrating Calendly for seamless client scheduling. And you connect Stripe for processing secure payments completely effortlessly. Both tools are entirely free to set up and start using.
Isn't it intimidating to price based on a massive outcome like a $70,000 raise?
It can be scary at first, but it changes the conversation completely. You stop justifying your hourly rate and start focusing on their future.
Exactly. You are anchoring the price to the client's new reality.
Coaching is highly rewarding, but let's be entirely honest with ourselves. We have to address a stark reality of the modern market. Many clients simply do not want to learn how to do things.
They just aggressively want you to do the hard work for them. This transitions us perfectly into the done-for-you service business model.
A lot of aspiring founders think they need a massive audience, but huge subscriber counts are largely a persistent vanity metric myth. Brands actively seek out dedicated nano and micro-niche influencers instead.
They are heavily looking for communities with incredibly high engagement rates. 3,000 deeply engaged, trusting subscribers is an absolute goldmine. It easily beats 3 million passive scrolling subscribers any day.
This all simply comes down to the critical metric of purchase intent. The absolute secret here is keeping your service incredibly singular. Trying to sell 5 completely different things at once confuses everyone.
It practically guarantees that absolutely nothing lands with your target audience. You need a structured prompt stack to systematically acquire new clients. This process always starts with a highly targeted direct outreach message.
You specifically ask Claude for a message under 100 words. You open with something highly specific and complimentary about their business. You clearly state the single painful problem you can efficiently solve.
And you end the message with an incredibly easy yes question. Once they finally say yes, you deploy your second Claude prompt. This is your highly detailed, professional service proposal generation prompt.
You outline their current painful problem with deep, striking clarity. You clearly propose your specific, tailored, done-for-you solution to fix it. You meticulously list the exact weekly or monthly concrete project deliverables.
You keep the overall tone deeply grounded and entirely professional. Absolutely no flashy marketing buzzwords are allowed in this crucial document.
Emphasize that sending the first outreach message is what actually matters most. It matters far more than obsessively perfecting the final pitch document.
So a massive audience is actually a vanity metric for this model.
Yeah, completely. Having genuine engagement drives actual sales much faster than mere visibility.
Yeah, a tiny audience of actual buyers beats a stadium of window shoppers.
It all comes down to building genuine trust and intent. Which brings us to the crucial question of acquiring that audience. This is the audience engine, and it powers all 4 previous models.
How do you actually get those 3,000 deeply engaged buyers? You absolutely must build a highly focused niche audience engine.
Building that deep trust requires a niche you truly understand deeply. You must avoid fleeting monthly content trends at all costs. You have to eagerly commit to this for several years.
You critically need to pick a niche based on your own struggles. Or it should heavily tie into your own existing professional work. There is a truly brilliant example of a niche chess tactics channel.
They currently have less than 10,000 total YouTube subscribers, but they easily pull over 100,000 highly engaged monthly views.
Because they explain complex chess endgames with incredible strategic depth. Literally nobody else on the entire platform offered that specific depth. Intellectual depth beats broad, generic, algorithmic appeal every single time.
A publication called The Strategy Story talks extensively about this phenomenon. They emphatically state you must commit to just 1 or 2 formats.
The recommendation algorithm actively needs to cleanly file your content away. It files you right next to highly similar, successful niche content.
So how do you practically brainstorm the perfect content calendar today? You explicitly ask Claude to suggest 15 highly urgent content topics.
These must be very specific problems your target audience is actively researching. They are frantically typing these exact problems into Google or YouTube today.
Always remember that intellectual depth easily beats flashy video production value. A basic phone camera or a standard webcam is entirely enough.
Why is the algorithm so obsessed with a channel sticking to just 1 or 2 formats?
Well, it fundamentally thrives on deeply recognizable digital patterns. It essentially needs to categorize you accurately to match you with viewers.
Makes sense. Predictability helps the algorithm confidently recommend your stuff.
Let's deliberately zoom out for just a quick second here. We have covered a truly tremendous amount of strategic ground today.
We absolutely have. Let's systematically recap the core philosophy tying these 5 models together. It fundamentally always starts with picking a real, specific problem you understand.
Then, you confidently let Claude automate the slow, manual research phase. You gladly let the AI handle the tedious, grinding first drafts.
You intentionally build a tight, highly focused niche audience over time. This crucial focus allows all the distinct models to seamlessly compound together. Starting imperfectly today always beats waiting around for a perfect plan.
You just have to bravely take the first step and run.
2-sec silence. If AI can write the proposal, draft the book, and build the sales page, maybe the ultimate human skill in the future isn't knowing the answers at all. Maybe it's just having the taste and empathy to know exactly which problem is worth solving next.
That is a truly fascinating and deeply philosophical way to look at it.
Exactly. So I highly encourage you to take a hard look at your own skills. Pick just one of these 5 specific business models today.
Run your very first strategic Claude prompt later this afternoon. See what happens when you apply immense leverage to what you intuitively know.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep building incredibly valuable things. We will catch you next time.